Hi everyone, this is Jeanette and I represent militaryspouseeducation.com. I started my blog to help military spouses navigate the military life, particularly their benefits and their education benefits. So today I'm going to be presenting on the top 5 changes for 2022 for military spouses from the National Defense Authorization Act. That's also known as the NDAA. But first, I would like you to subscribe, to like, leave a comment. I definitely have a call to action at the end that I think I'd really like your feedback, because these 5 benefits get really good, and I'd love to see what affects you most or what you think was the most important. I'm honestly really impressed with how 2022's defense budget changed. So if you didn't know, NDAA, like I said, it is the defense budget for the fiscal year of 2022. And they certainly did some consideration of families, and I really appreciated that families came on the 3rd page of the 19-page document I read of the changes. So, top 5. Here's number 1. There is now parental leave for service members of 12 weeks. This includes paternity leave of 12 weeks. Okay, and this doesn't just include the spouse having birth. This includes a surrogate having birth. This includes adoption, and this includes foster care placement of a child. This is a big deal, okay? I'm sure if you've had a child or you know someone who's had a child in the military, the amount of leave you get has really been like pulling teeth. And I just think this is such a big deal, and that's why it's my number 1, that the parental leave is going to be 12 weeks, and that includes for fathers. Okay, my number 2 is basic needs allowance. There is now going to be an allowance that they say is to, quote, meet the basic needs of families. I assume that this is mostly going to affect the E1, the E2, the E3s. However, we shouldn't have service members on food stamps, and we've had quite a few duty station areas where it's just not meeting the basic needs, certainly not. So there's now going to be a basic needs allowance. I'm certain that will come down the pipeline, and you'll find out what that is. And if it affects you, I'd love to know what that is necessarily, but I'm sure it will depend on the number of dependents that the service member has. All right, number 3, there is now going to be a pilot program. Okay, I say pilot, so it might not directly affect you immediately, but it's a pilot program to have direct hire authority for military spouses to get federal jobs while stationed overseas. Okay, so this means that your duty station can be outside of the United States and you still get direct hire authority for stateside jobs. Okay, so basically the restrictions that and hurdles that spouses have previously faced for getting a federal job stateside while overseas, they're really starting this pilot program to try to fight that and hopefully help with the employment problems we have for military spouses. All right, and number 4. Number 4 is a really big deal, okay? If you've had a kid, you know, if you use TRICARE, that to get the prenatal carrier screenings for genetic dispositions for possible problems, that you had to pay for that out of pocket because it was considered extra and not covered by TRICARE. I am so happy to report now that prenatal carrier screenings are now covered. Not just that, it gets even better. Preconception carrier screenings are now covered, okay? So you can see if you have a genetic disposition before you get pregnant. This is preconception as well as when you are pregnant. Prenatal carrier screenings are now covered, and I just really love how it seems like they're really stepping up and thinking holistically about the wellness of a family and how we plan having a family in the military, and starting that with our health and wellness. That's just awesome. All right, number 5. Number 5 is getting pretty serious. There will now be bereavement leave for military personnel in the case of a death of their child or their spouse. So we as military spouses, of course, are nervous. I mean, and we should be and always thinking about the lives of the service member. However, this is turning the tables and thinking of the lives of the spouse, the lives of the child, and also thinking of how that will affect the service member. And it now provides 2 weeks of bereavement leave, which I think is just so great. So that is all 5. Let's go through and tell me in the comments, what did you think was the most important? Did you think 1, the parental leave becoming 12 weeks is the best? Did you think 2, basic needs allowance, is that going to affect you? 3, do you think the pilot program for overseas spouses is awesome? 4, do you think preconception and prenatal carrier screenings is the best? Or 5, do you think bereavement leave for military personnel in the case of a death of a family member is the most important? All right, so that has been Military Spouse Education. I'm Jeanette, and here to inform you on everything involving military spouse benefits and helping educate you, especially military spouse education benefits. Please like, please subscribe, please follow my channel and visit my website, militaryspouseeducation.com.